There it is, the magic number, 300 kilometers per hour, 304, 305, 306, 307, 308. This is the 8th generation of the Porsche 911. This is the base variant known as the Carrera. This is priced at rupees 2.36 crores on road Mumbai, and this is actually the facelifted version of the 8th generation of the 911 known as the 992.2. The key is the same as before. It's actually quite a nice design for the key. This Porsche logo actually blinks red when you press any of the buttons here, and this is actually to open the frunk of the vehicle, and it's quite quirky how you can open the frunk in another way. All you have to do is use these 3 fingers of yours and just swipe like this. Check this out, okay? And there it opens. Yes, this is a usable frunk because it can accommodate 135 liters, which is quite a lot. This is the first aid kit, the warning triangles, the tire inflator, and it has been beautifully lined as well. There's a light here. That is where the washer fluid goes, and there's no insulation here. It does not need it. So the facelift is, oh my god, did I just put an insect inside? I thought so. Anyways, this facelifted model has a few changes at the front. So truly it is a facelift, because what Porsche has done is remove the indicators from somewhere here and put them in the main light right here, so that they can make the bumper bigger and make bigger air intake so that the car can breathe better. I remember driving the Carrera S earlier, which actually had louvers which opened and closed for better breathing. However, these are fixed louvers, they don't open or close. But in the GTS, it has 5 vertical louvers on either side, and they do open and close depending on the situation. So better breathing with bigger air intakes here. The lights have been revised because the indicator is now on the inside. Now these are matrix lights. However, optional HD matrix lights are on this particular car. That's the reason it says HD matrix on the inside. It says Porsche here. So the design has changed completely. In fact, it used to say X-side on the pre-facelifted model here. So that's something which has also changed, obviously. Now it has got 4 parking sensors at the front, and this car has got 2 of these, which is very similar to what we see in Audi cars, because this is the radar for ADAS and this is for the night vision camera. This is the front camera of the car. I think this is the towing hook, which seems quite small as such. Meanwhile, the Porsche crest, this blue color does look awesome, and you can see the main lights right here. So it has got multiple DRLs, Porsche written right here. Great attention to detail. You can see HD matrix written in a better way on this light, because obviously the reflection from the sun, it's super bright. I'm shooting at 12 o'clock. I'm so stupid. And the main lights on the inside, which you can see. So the design remains more or less the same when compared to before, unless and until you have a really keen eye, you will not be able to tell only what all has changed. There you get the lane keep assist camera and the rain sensor as well. In fact, all the mirrors, the 2 outside and the 1 inside, have auto dimming property and rain sensors as well. This is the chassis number of the car. Standard, it comes with 19 and 20 inch wheels. These are upsized tires, so 20 inch wheels right here. Front tire size 245, 35, 20s. I think this is also part of optional kit, having the Porsche crest right here. So yeah, it says Porsche on the brake calipers. Meanwhile, the indicator also works here. It has 6 parking sensors actually. Does it have 6 or 4? No, it has 6 parking sensors. So this car can do self-park too. Coming to the side of the vehicle, I realize the length is slightly more than 4.5 meters. The wheelbase is 2450 mm, which is not that big, because this is obviously a compact car and it's become a 2-seater now. Earlier it was a 4-seater, but now it comes with just 2 seats. Porsche will give you 2 more seats at the rear for no added cost. Yeah, they had to get the weight under 1600 kgs. This car weighs 1595 kgs. There's a camera here because it obviously gets a 360-degree parking camera. From here, it projects a light at night, and the doors pop in and out in 3 steps. But yeah, it's a bit weird to operate that. Now, why am I opening the door? First and foremost, it says 911 Carrera here, but it does not glow. Usually it should glow. Now, this is to open the frunk of the vehicle, so you can open the frunk in multiple ways. Tire pressure recommendation. This is to scan for the vehicle information, and it tells you how to put the ISOFIX child seat in this car. That's some information you would really need. It has these optional bigger or thicker windows as well for better insulation, and it also gets the privacy glass so that nobody can see what's happening on the inside. Now, the rear tire is obviously bigger, staggered tire setup. Alloy wheel design is the typical classic Carrera design. 5-spoke wheels, they actually look nice. Tire size here happens to be 305, 30, 21. So really wide tires, yeah, really wide tires, because this car has got the focus on handling always, and it needs wider tires at the rear because the engine is behind the rear axle. It's a rear engine, rear wheel drive car. Where is the engine? Let me press this button to open the engine. Yeah, this one. Check that out. There it opens. So let's shut this. It says 3.0 right here, and this is the engine. You can see the fan is spinning at the moment. Let me shut this. It has got these multiple vents, but this one is actually for the brake light, and from the side you will notice it has this teardrop shape. In fact, two generations of the 911 have a very similar design. 991 and 992 have a very similar design language. They've actually refined the car way too much. What has changed at the rear? The lights get the OLED treatment. The bumper is slightly revised. The diffuser is also revised. In fact, it gets sports exhaust which are finished in black. This is obviously optional. You get 6 parking sensors at the rear. There's a reverse parking camera right here. 911 Carrera, Porsche, and this is the rear fog light of the vehicle. That is the towing hook, and some reflector is here as well. Obviously, the color looks awesome. Yeah, the color looks awesome, and it has got really wide haunches. In fact, the front fenders are also flared. Yeah, these are flared, and fuel goes in right here at the front. It even says Porsche on the fuel cap, which seems quite premium. Wiper quality is just amazing. Let's get to the rear. Not the best place to be in, but hey, why not? Again, lot of information about the weight, how to place a isofix child seat, and how do you get to the rear? Well, you just pull this and you push it ahead, but nothing will happen because you need to do it manually, which is a bit disappointing because I expected the seat to go all the way ahead on its very own, but no, that doesn't seem to happen here. Space at the rear is atrocious to say the least, so this is best bought as a two-seater, but I'll still try and get inside to show you how bad it is, because there is absolutely no space for someone as tall as me. There is no legroom. I can't even shut this. Under thigh support is horrendous. Headroom is not there at all, so my head is obviously hitting there because of the sloping roofline of the vehicle, and there is no headrest either because center passenger never gets a head, but here rear passengers only don't get a head. Speaker placement here, in fact, you get light because it has got ambient lighting. You need to pull this to push the seat forward. There's a hook here, and you get seat belts as well. In fact, it says airbag too, but there's absolutely no space for adults, so why would you sit here? There are some design changes which I don't like, I'll tell you, because Porsche has actually gone one step back in certain areas. But the good news is you can actually pull this, yeah, and increase the storage capacity, because that becomes 261 liters. Engine is right below that, so 261 liter storage when you put this down on both the sides. So that's a bit practical. Isofix child seat mounts, because these are child seats at best. No scooped out seat backs, no magazine holders, none of that. And then I have to manually push this behind, but it seems there's some storage space here. Now the glove box is actually lockable, and we have got the high visibility jacket here, and it tells you all the information about the options of this car in this particular beautifully crafted leather pouch. I'm just going to put it back inside. What is there here? Okay, that is obviously for the parking thing in Germany. Whenever you park, you have to put this, you have to put your timing of parking and put it on the windscreen of the vehicle. There you can turn off the passenger airbag, the Porsche pen with a proper slot to put it as well. But what about cup holders? Does this car have got, I mean, this is not shutting only. So frustrating. No, it okay, there's a light inside, but this thing simply does not shut because that was tough. I press this and there opens the cup holder, so the passenger can have a cup of coffee for sure. And there's some details about the engine here, so engine number has been written right there. Door pockets are really very small. Gets a Bose sound system. And this leather treatment is actually very premium. Look at the stitching, it's just awesome. Well done Porsche, well done. So it gets a 4-way adjust for the seats, electric adjust. However, this car is equipped with an 18-way adjust because that is optional. So the sky is the limit in terms of optional equipment. You can opt for whatever you want and keep increasing the price of the car to the sky and more. Now getting in and out is a bit difficult, I will agree. Meanwhile, under thigh support is never an issue because you can actually alter the under thigh support by pressing a button. Yeah, 18-way is a lot of ways to adjust the seat. The seats are actually very nice and comfortable. So many buttons here, proper dead pedal right there, and it says Porsche on the mat as well. Now where they have gone one step back is that it has a start engine stop button. It no longer has that thing to twist to turn on the vehicle, which replicates as if you're putting a key. So they have removed that. I don't know why. There were earlier 4 buttons here. Now it just has 2 buttons for the lights. This is for the rear fog and you can browse through this. Okay, if I press this button there, you can see it says automatic headlight, dip beam, side lights and off. So you can browse through this to alter the lights of the vehicle, and it obviously has a lot of leather. In fact, the interior is quite similar to other Porsche cars, which can be both a good and bad thing. Another bad thing, which I don't really like about this car, is the analog tachometer in the center has gone. Now this is a fully digital screen. It gives me a lot of information. Yeah, it's an information overload. It's telling me which door is open and it says keys not detected. These are the controls for the power windows and this is for the mirror adjustment as well. There's some big fat insect which is trying to get into the car. Obviously, frameless doors look super duper awesome. Does it go all the way down? Yes, it does, but in 2 steps. Let's shut this and let's roll the windows back up. Here you get a mirror along with 2 lights. Same is the case here as well. Does this extend? No, it does not extend. It is fixed. Lights here on the top, auto dimming mirror. That's actually the clock which also becomes a stopwatch. Beautiful treatment here. In fact, the dashboard looks awesome but very similar to other Porsche cars, and that's something I don't like because of the analog tachometer going completely. Now you can alter this with a touch of a button because there are multiple views. So these are the 3 pods. Then you obviously have the stopwatch as well. If you're going to go racing, you have a map view, a complete map view, and then you have a night vision camera which will show here. It takes some time to load, but there it is. Amazing, right? That's optional. Here another tachometer view with the red line at 12 o'clock. So you can just use this to change that on the go. Now, because this car has the sports chrono package, it has this dial for drive mode selector. Meanwhile, all the controls are in your hand. Quality is just amazing here. Steering doesn't have the flat bottom treatment. It doesn't really need it. And obviously it has electric adjust for the steering wheel. Lot of leather. Because of the sports chrono package, I think you got black finish on the paddles as well. These are the controls for the lights. These are the controls for the wipers. That is for the cruise control system. And that is a 10.9-inch screen. So it's again very similar to other Porsche cars. Very slick to use. Super duper awesome. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, both of them work wirelessly. Got inbuilt navigation as well, which is also amazing. Let's come out into the car menu. You can change a lot of the settings from here. Otherwise, there are buttons. So this can be a shortcut for start system. Yeah, you can actually set it for whatever you want. You can extend the rear spoiler from here, or it automatically extends at speed in 2 steps. Meanwhile, this is for the active exhaust, this is for the hazard light, this is for traction control, and this is for the suspension because it has got Porsche active suspension management as well. Now let's come to the main menu here. Very easy to browse through. You've got a performance screen which will show you how much accelerator brake you are getting onto, and all those aspects are obviously there. Tire pressure, it also tells you tire temperature because of the sports chrono package, what is the power and torque being used. So a lot of data here, which is quite nice. And then you can watch videos too. Loading video. What video? Is it YouTube video? I have no clue. It says 4G because it obviously has connected car tech, and there are vents here on the top because center vents are placed here on the bottom. So yeah, they've put vents on the top. It's quite unique if you ask me, but I don't know what particular app that is, but it's loading at the moment. You have weather data here, so it's actually quite loaded, but we need to get into the sports chrono here. So now I can actually turn on the stopwatch. So if I do start recording, notice one thing, there the clock comes to the center. So there's an analog one, there's a digital one here as well, which is quite cool. When you turn on the car, it obviously shows you the Porsche logo and it's quite nice, an animation. Let me turn off the car, you will see the animation right now. And there it says 911 Carrera and turns, and there is how it turns. Let's turn on the vehicle, and there again it says 911 Carrera. It says Porsche here. So animations are fantastic, but not much has really changed. I remember the Carrera S which I had driven. It actually had buttons here for the sunroof. Sunroof is standard in India. Somehow this car does not have a sunroof only. Meanwhile, I don't like the way this gear lever is because I cannot do manual control of the gears. I have to do it through the pedals. Otherwise, you should have a proper gear lever. Now, they removed it with the 992 generation of the vehicle. This is for seat heating. There's a cup holder here. That is electric parking brake. Some storage space here. 15-watt wireless charging. 2 USB-C charging sockets as well. So some storage space right there. Dual zone climate control, air conditioning system. Some physical buttons. Now, this is for the volume going next, track and all that. And then you can browse through like this. So that's a good thing that you have got physical controls. Let's actually get into reverse because this is the 360-degree parking camera. You've got multiple views for the cameras, which is actually very nice. Quality of the camera is just amazing. If I press this button, notice how this changes, okay? So they have got multiple views as well. Yeah, kind of nicely done, parking sensors and all those things. Now let me actually come out. By the way, this is to get into manual mode and piano black finishing here. It even says 911 there, so attention detail is actually quite nice here. Now let's get into assistance, because I think I can decide ADAS functions here. Speed warning and warn and brake assist. Lane keep assist is actually optional, it's not standard. Lane change assist, motorway light assistant and all that. Yeah, it's obviously loaded because it's an expensive car, so it gives you a lot of information here. In comfort now, there's ambient lighting, so I can change the colors from here, and I think there's 64 colors. I can make it dynamic as well, which will depend on, I don't know what it says, suit tracker or whatever, I don't know what that means. And then I can decide where I want the ambient lighting to be as well. The quality of the screen is actually amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal. Here I can make a lot of changes to the drive mode settings. But I remember when I drove the Carrera S, it even had an individual mode here, because when I change this right now, it's only showing me 4 drive modes. So let me browse through this cluster mode. Tire information is being shown. There's a stopwatch. This car is always ready to go on the track, it seems, because why would you need a stopwatch otherwise? Yeah, it is very similar to the Cayenne as well as the Taycan. Everything seems identical. Part sharing, yet the car does cost quite a lot here, which is kind of baffling. And you have got memory seats only for the driver, not for the co-driver. The passenger does not get memory seats. However, there is this red light which blinks on both the sides to tell you if someone is in your line of sight. So when you're getting off the car, you at least know that. I like this treatment here, so it kind of feels show-footed. Thankfully, they've given us a lot of physical buttons, but most of the stuff is actually in the screen, which isn't that bad because the screen is very slick to use. So no complaints on that front. It says airbag here. It has a multitude of airbags, obviously, and getting in and out is a bit difficult considering how this car is so low, and there's no storage space only. Bose sound system, by the way, is optional, if I've not already told you that. A lot of leather treatment almost everywhere, which is quite expected at this price. Let me roll down the windows, because with the doors open and the windows down with the frameless doors, the car looks like $1 million. But I'm a bit disappointed by the fact that Porsche and Audi co-develop a lot of cars. However, this car does not have dynamic lights. So when you unlock the car at night, it does not animate anything, it just turns on, especially at the rear, which is a bit more disappointing because I expected the light bar to come like this, but it does not. It just turns on straight away. Now it might just look like one single light right there, but actually the lights are connected here to remind you of the classic 911s, because this is an evolutionary car. Anyways, enough of my yapping, let's start driving right away. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, launch control. Absolutely mental acceleration. This car really launches with so much aggression, and the downshifts absolutely crazy here. Now I'm driving on the German Autobahn. What an engine! The way it picks up pace is unbelievable. So I'll do one thing. I'll actually change the cluster view right here, because this doesn't seem that interesting. So we're just going to turn on the night view one, so you can see that Volkswagen multivan is right in our sight, and it says that it cannot detect any pedestrian, or there's no pedestrian right now. We are in a de-restricted zone where these vans are driving really very slowly. So I'm going to just change it to the map view. Let's put the boost button. 20 seconds of boost. Lane keep assist, ADAS functions there. Yeah, the performance is obviously very good here. The car pulls strongly, but then this is the base version of the 911. Can do with a bit more power, because this one is producing 394 PS of power and 450 Newton meters of torque. So they've actually made some changes. What they have done is they've actually taken the turbochargers from the outgoing GTS, the 992.1 GTS, and the intercooler has come from the 911 Turbo. The intercoolers have come from there, because of which power is increased by 9 PS and torque has gone up by a whole 0 Newton meters, because earlier also it was 450 Newton meters, now also it is 450 Newton meters. The result is this car is faster from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour by 0.1 second. Meanwhile, the top speed has increased by 1 kilometer per hour. This car goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.1 seconds or 3.9 seconds with the Sports Chrono package. Sports Chrono package obviously gives you this drive mode and that overboost function, where for 20 seconds you get more power, baby. Yeah, it redlines at 7,500 RPM. Meanwhile, top speed is 294 kilometers per hour. I guess we will be able to hit 300 kilometers per hour if we get an open stretch of road today. It gets an 8-speed PDK gearbox, Porsche Doppelkupplung, which is basically German for dual clutch automatic gearbox, and there's a manual mode as well. Otherwise, if you touch any of the pedals, you obviously get into manual mode here. Engine is loud. You know why? Because it pushes artificial sounds from the speakers on the inside. Car feels very stable. The only thing is, over bad roads now, doesn't feel stiff, but you can feel a bit of uneasiness purely because of the low profile tires here. The tires are very low profile here. Now in terms of exhaust, this car has 2 exhausts. I remember the Carrera S I had driven, the pre-facelifted model, that had 4 exhausts, quad exhaust. Meanwhile, the GTS has dual exhaust as well, but they are closer. So these ones are a little far apart. Let's quickly talk about the pricing of this car. 2.36 crores on road Mumbai, so an increase of around 15 lakhs for this facelifted model. Meanwhile, for the GTS, which is available with standard 4-wheel drive in India, the Carrera 4 GTS, that costs 90 lakhs more at 3.26 crores. Yeah, that is quite expensive. In fact, the registration cost of this car is rupees 27 lakhs. First year insurance cost of this car is a whopping 8 lakhs actually. Yeah, so that's quite expensive. The car feels unbelievable to drive because, oh my goodness, what did I see? There's a BMW M4 right behind us, ready to fly. And recently I was driving the M4 on the Autobahn, and trust me on this, the M4 definitely, without a doubt, feels better in terms of the engine. This is a 3-liter inline, straight 6 boxer engine. That motorcycle right in front is also being driven quite fast. But bye, I'll see you later. 275 kilometers per hour, and the BMW is right on my tail right now. Yeah, that BMW is going to fly, but this Audi Q2 is cruising along very slowly here. We are in a de-restricted zone. Let me actually change the cluster mode. Let's put the 5-pod one. Come on Q2, move aside and let me fly away. So in terms of the engine, it feels very refined and smooth. There's that initial lag, but beyond that, it absolutely pulls hard and strong. So the motor is very punchy here, but this is the base. So things get better with the GTS, which is a T hybrid. Actually, displacement has increased by 600cc there because it's not about downsizing. It's about better power delivery, more power, baby. And the GTS usually doesn't come so fast, but this time GTS has come like really very quickly. Okay, this Kia is taking its own sweet time to move, and then there's another Kia right in front of us. That should move as well. Yeah, take your time, don't get into another car. And off we go. That BMW M4 is right on my ass. It refuses to let go. So I'm just going to give that M4 an opportunity to overtake because I am sure it, oh my god, it's right on my tail. Go, M4, go. Let's see what it has to do. And there goes the BMW M4. And there we come on it right now for a slipstream. That BMW is just amazing. BMWs are really amazing in terms of the engines that we get. Mind-blowing to say the least. Woo! 287 kilometers per hour. We aren't that far from the top speed, but the problem is that there are very slow cars being driven in the fast lane right now, which makes no sense at all. So brakes are very strong here. So rear engine, rear wheel drive. Let's downshift. Please drive in the middle of the lane. Yes, brother, I will do that. Don't have to hesitate. Don't have to keep warning me about that. I love that generation of the BMW M4. Imagine the kind of frustration all of us are having because a few vans are being carried on the right lane, in the fast lane, the leftmost lane. And this is a 2-lane Autobahn. Imagine 4-lane would have been so much more comfortable. That bike is again behind me. Come on, move aside. Let's downshift. Gearbox is really fast with shifts, like amazingly quick with shifts. Oh, come on, give me the power, baby. Give me the power. Now finally it's time for, okay, I can hear the sound of the M4. It could have been louder still. It feels a bit meek here. It doesn't sound that loud as I expected it to be. Yeah, it is furious, no doubt about it, but could be louder still. It delivers all the power really very smoothly. There are multiple drive modes. How many drive modes are there? There are 4. There's wet, there's normal, there's sport, and there is obviously sport plus. There should be an individual which is not there in this car, which was there in the Carrera S, which I drove 5 years back. Actually, why am I driving this car on the German Autobahn? Very simple reason. I had driven the Carrera S in India 5 years back, and obviously I was driving according to speed limits, which is like 100-120 kilometers per hour. Comments on the video are, you're not doing justice to the car by driving it just at 100-120 kilometers per hour. Please drive it much faster, and that's the reason I decided to drive the facelifted model right here in Germany to do justice to what this car can offer, and now we are hitting a speed restriction which is 120 kilometers per hour, which means the race between BMW and Porsche is over for the time being. We shall just come to the slower lane and just cruise along. Okay, we are back into de-restriction. Let's go! In Sport Plus mode now, it will hold the RPM till the red line and not upshift prior. It will make sure that it hits the red line all the time, which is beautiful. Okay, I'm just waiting that if we get an open patch of road, it is time to whack open the throttle completely. However, it's the T hybrid, the one to buy because of the kind of performance, and obviously it's 9 lakhs more expensive when compared to this model, but then this model also has a lot of optional extras which is obviously pushed the price quite high up. The good part is that with the T hybrid, which is more expensive, you get a lot more kit. So it's standard 4-wheel drive, rear axle, steering wheel, and then sports chrono package is also standard. So you get a ton of stuff which completely makes it worth it as well. Let's quickly change the cluster mode. Let's put the night vision camera because that looks quite cool. It takes a couple of seconds for this to start. Why is this Hyundai car not moving out of my way? What is wrong with you, dude? In the night vision, it looks like a villain to me for sure. A little bit bouncy here and there. Brakes are actually very strong, yeah, and road noise on all are kept out of big completely. Come on, guy, move out of my way. It's usually the Hyundai cars now which are the slowest on these roads. They always come in your line of path, which is quite frustrating. This is, oh god, restriction has started. So trust me on this. This is the best, by far the best electric power steering ever. Porsche has done a phenomenal job in terms of the steering feel. It is so good here. And again we are in the restricted zone, so off we go. Too much traffic today, way too much traffic. People driving slowly in the fast lane. I don't know why, but today is a weekend, so that's a bit of an issue. Anyways, only 2 variants of the facelifted model have been launched in India. They're the Carrera, the one I'm driving right now, and the Carrera 4 GTS. There is no Cabrio or Targa, I think because of homologation issues. Now, in terms of the variants, there are 7 variants on offer in India. The Carrera, the one I'm driving. Then there is obviously the Carrera 4 GTS and the older cars like the GT3. In fact, the GT3 costs less than the Carrera 4 GTS. So the pre-facelift GT3 is costing less than the facelifted GTS, which means that the GTS is quite expensive if you ask me. And then obviously we have the Turbo S and the GT3 RS as well. So all these variants have been carried forward. Okay, finally we've got a very good patch of road, which means we are into Sport Plus. Let's have some boost of 20 seconds as well. There's always a slow moving car. Anyways, I was telling you about the variants which are on offer in India. I think with time we will get the other variants as well, hopefully. The aggression with which this car gives downshifts is just mind-blowing. Come on. Oh god, oh no, what is wrong with you? There's always one party pooper. The magic number, 300 kilometers per hour, 304, 305, 306, 307, 308. Absolutely crazy the way this car went. Mind blown. And now we are in a restricted zone. What performance, absolutely unreal. No hesitation to reach the top top speed claimed 294, but this car is hitting more than 300 kilometers per hour. Unfreaking believable. And the good news is there's de-restriction again. Actually, we were on a downslope now, so that really helped, and off we go. Come on, Audi, move out of my way. And obviously fuel consumption will be massive at these speeds, but the good news is that this car has a bigger fuel tank. So standard fuel tank capacity 63 liters, but this one has a bigger optional tank of 84 liters. That certainly helps because this car is returning around 4 to 7 kilometers per liter depending on the driving style. When you whack open the throttle like I am doing right now, obviously it will consume a lot more fuel, but when I was turning around there at those speeds, I didn't feel nervous at all because the car feels so good. Now obviously it has a spoiler which deploys at speeds in 2 steps to ensure there's better downforce. In fact, this is the slipperiest 911 ever because CD value for the 992 has decreased from 0.32 from the 991 to 0.27, which is honestly unfreaking believable. Very few cars make me speechless, but this 911 definitely does. Absolutely unbelievable performance. The thrust from the engine, the handling, everything is so surreal here. It feels glued to the road. But is the 911 getting diluted? Probably with the hybridization, and if everything goes EV, then we are screwed. Already the 718 is going EV, which is kind of a weird decision to have because a sports car without sound is just like, I don't know what. But Porsche is developing synthetic fuel so that they can continue running the 911 because this is an iconic car. The performance, the handling, the driving feel, everything is mind-blowing. The weight distribution, 37% at the front, 63% at the rear. The engine is in the wrong place, but over 50 years, Porsche has refined everything so beautifully well. And now this is the benchmark of sports cars. This car has twin turbos. It does not feel turbocharged at all. That's how good it is. It's mind-blowing. What a car, what an engine, what performance, and the thrust, everything. OMG, I'm in love with it. I think this car is having some package or the other because it's not supposed to go that fast. 308 is what we hit, which is insanely quick. And then you are stuck behind an electric car, which obviously is very restricted in terms of top speed, but that goes out of sight. We go full onto the throttle. And restriction of 100 kilometers per hour. How come this car does not fly at those speeds? I have no clue at all. And off we go again. Somebody has to be a party pooper. Somebody has to be. Now it's in manual mode because I obviously touched the pedal right now. So many of you are like, you talk too much, can't you just shut up while giving the car the beans? And that's exactly what I've done today. If you like this video, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.